Okay, yeah, so basically the first step in this process is we gotta make our Firebase project. So we'll go to Firebase console right here. Okay, so what you do is you add a project. Let's just call it like to-do list. Okay, and we will continue, make an account. Oops. Okay, yeah, so basically what's gonna happen is we're gonna make a project and we're gonna store data here. So essentially what we could do while we're waiting is we could set up our own project to make this work. So essentially what we gotta do is we first gotta install Firebase onto our app. So we're gonna do npm install Firebase. And then in our actual thing, we could start working on our Firebase service. So all we gotta do is we add a new folder like that. We'll call it services, and we can make a Firebase thing. Okay, why can't I type? Hold up. There we go. Oops, services. Okay. And now in here we can make a new file, and we could call that firebase.js. Okay, so now the first thing we gotta do is import Firebase. So we are gonna do import Firebase from firebase.app, and then we're also gonna import Firestore from firebase/firestore. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we gotta get our project working. Okay. So essentially we have a project now, right? And basically what's cool about this is we could actually store stuff in Cloud Firestore, right? We basically have a database. So we're gonna create a database. We're gonna start it in production mode. We're gonna put it not in US Central, we're gonna put it in US West. Okay. Enable. And basically what this is gonna let us do is it's gonna let us store information on Google so that no matter where we are, I could deploy it on the internet, and anybody who accesses our website could actually see the to-dos that we put there. So that will take its time, but while we're waiting, I guess we had to kind of wait. Let us start setting stuff up. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do Firebase. We're gonna have a Firebase config, right? And then they're gonna give it to us. But first thing we gotta do is initialize the app. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna put in the config that we will get, and then we do let firestore or db equal firebase.firestore. Okay. So hooray, we made our database, right? This is our database. We could start collections, right? This is gonna store our data, and that's how this works. But to put it into our app, we gotta go to the project overview, and we gotta click the web because we're making a website, and we're gonna call it to-do list. And we'll continue because we need to put something in our JavaScript. So let's see. Okay, we'll go here and we want config, so we'll copy paste this guy in here. Epic. Okay, so now essentially we could access our Firebase app. So now what we gotta do is we gotta start making stuff to insert our to-dos into the database, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a function, and we're gonna say, well, let's make this a constant. Okay, and then over here, whoops, that's not how you do it. Const. There we go. Okay, and then we could do const add to-do, right? And then we could take in the name of the to-do we want to add and the ID of the list. So let's put list ID in the beginning. Because right now we have like we have a homework and a grocery list, right? So we want to add it to different collections, so that's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna just add it to a certain list ID. Okay. And then we're going to do that, and all we gotta do is we do db.collection, and we're gonna do list ID, and then we're gonna do doc. Okay, so now we know that like our to-dos are defined by this ID, right? And does anybody remember how we made the ID? Anybody? Well, basically the idea is we use a UUID, right? And basically UUIDs are unique, but Mason basically copied and pasted some code from somewhere else, but the best way to do it, if we don't want to keep recopying and pasting that method, is we could do npm install uuid. And now we could access that method from anywhere. So the way we do that is we will import it to our Firebase thing. So we'll do import v4 from uuid. Okay. And then we'll generate, when we want to add a to-do, we have to generate a new uuid, right? So all we're going to do is we're going to do let uuid equal to v4, like that. Okay. And then we're going to set the doc ID to that. And then we're going to set the doc to something. Okay. So now we can make our to-do. We'll put the name as name. We'll put completed as false. And we will put the timestamp. Now what's cool about the timestamp is we could actually get the server to do it for us. So if someone like in some other time zone like inserts something, it'll always be the same time zone. So let's see. So the way you do this is you do firebase.firestore.fieldValue.server timestamp. Okay, there you go. So now as soon as we add it, it's gonna add a to-do to our website. But let us see what happens if we like just put this at the beginning of our to-do list when it renders and see what happens. So we'll do add to-do. Whoops, we should import it somehow. Hold up. Whoops, we gotta export it. Export, add to-do. Okay. All right, and we'll just do props.id. And we'll put in like hello. Let's see what happens if we do that. And we'll make sure we have the IDs for these guys. So we'll make ID equals homework and ID equals grocery. Okay. So basically the point of this is just so that we use different collections, right? Because if all the lists are using the same collection, they're always going to be the same, which is not what we want. So let us see what happens if we run this. Okay. Okay, let's look at our Cloud Firestore. Hold up. We should check if it's actually being called. So console.log hi. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Firebase app name default already exists. Hold up. Give me a second. Let's make sure I did the right Firebase config. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know what the problem is here. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's make sure that it actually called it. Let's see. Console. Okay, so now it's saying, so now it's trying to write to our database, right? But the problem is it doesn't have enough permissions. So what we got to do is we got to go to rules, and we're just going to let it always write by changing this to true, and now it should be good. That's not how you spell true. Okay, true. There we go. Okay, so now this might take a little bit of time, but let's try it. Okay, it worked, right? It called hi twice. Very nice. Now it should have two things in our collection. Hey, we got a to-do in both of these, right? It basically made a to-do saying hello in both of them. So we know our add to-do is working. Let's see if we could get it to actually work when we want it to, not just at the beginning it adds a new thing. Okay, so the way we're gonna do that, we're gonna delete this out of here. Okay. All right, and now when do we want to add a to-do? It's right here, right? We only want to add a to-do over here, and we want to make sure that the UUID is the same as the UUID we're adding to our current list. So the way we're going to do that is we're just going to put this in here. Whoops, hold up. Okay, yeah. So we're just going to do here, we're going to do let UUID is equal to add to-do, and then our list ID is what? Props.id, and then our name is the name of the to-do we're adding. Okay. And now the problem is this doesn't return the UUID, so all we got to do to fix that is we return UUID. Very nice. Okay. So now, theoretically, if we were to run this, if we add a thing, let's see, okay. So now, if I go to my to-do list and I do like that, and I add it, it says, cannot access to-do before initialization. Okay, hold up. Hold up. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So now if we add it, we could go to our thing, and you can see it added a new to-do to our list. Very nice. So now the only problem is that our list is not the same as what's on the database, right? If I refresh my page, it still goes away. So now we had to get it from the database onto our app, right? So the way we do that is we're just gonna, at the beginning, we're gonna use something called use effect, right? Because we only want to get our database at the very beginning, right? We don't want to get it every single time we update the state, which is a waste of time. All we had to do is refresh, and we should want to get it when we refresh, not like every single frame in between. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something called use effect, right? And basically what this does is it like carries out this function every time you render, unless you do something like this. And now it'll only do it when props.id changes, which only changes when you first refresh the page. So now we could do something for the first time at the beginning. I should probably import use effect. Use effect. Did not import. God dang it. Okay. Hold up. Use effect. Okay. So now that we have use effect, what we could do is we could get our stuff from our database. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep track of our to-dos, var or let to-dos is equal to that. Or no, actually, now we have to get it from our database. So we do database.collection props.id .id, then .get, .doc, and then, we want to do .get .then, and then we take in the query snapshot. So basically what the query snapshot is it gives us all the documents in our collection. Should probably import, so over here we're going to export our DB, right, because we want to access it in the other file, right. Now over here we could access it, so we do db.collection.prop.id, and now we could let, why did it not import? Oh, it did. Okay, we did it. db. There we go. Let to-dos equals this, right? And now we want to go through each thing in our query snapshot. So we do query snapshot for each, and then it'll give us each document in that collection, and each document corresponds to our it corresponds to a to-do. So now we're just going to do to-do.push, and then we're going to put in our to-dos. So what is our name going to be? It's going to be the doc.data.name. Then our completed is going to be our doc.data.completed. And then our ID, we want our ID to be different, so we're going to do ID is doc.id, and then our timestamp is going to be doc.data.timestamp. Okay. So essentially what we want to do is we want to make sure our to-dos are ordered by, we want to make sure it's ordered by like timestamp, right? So all we got to do is we do to-dos, to-dos dot sort, and then we'll just do a function real quick, a comma b, and then we'll do a.timestamp minus b.timestamp. And then at the very end, all we want to do is, well, we should probably, actually that should work. Okay, and then at the very end, we want to set our update items to to-dos. Okay, nice. So now if we try refreshing, hey, it got our to-dos from our to-do list. So that works pretty well. Now if we add stuff, right? And now if we keep adding stuff, right? Refresh, it's still there, right? We still have all the information we want. Very nice. We have a backend. So now when we click things, we probably want to save that it's clicked, right? We don't want it to go away entirely. So why don't we just quickly do that? So we'll make a new function called toggle to do. So we can just copy this, and we'll call it set to do, and we'll take in whether it is completed or not. And we should probably take in the UUID of the doc. And now all we gotta do is we gotta update our completed field. So we just do, instead of set, we do update because we're only changing it. We're not making a new one. And now the only thing it'll change is the completed field. So it'll do completed. Okay. And we don't need this boy. And we don't need that boy. Okay. And over here, we are going to do this. All right. So when we find this, we basically want to set it as completed here, but we also want to set it as completed there. So we're going to do set to do, and we're going to do list ID, which is props.id, and then our UUID, which is item.id, which is just ID. Okay, and the completed is just item.completed. Okay, so now let's try that. So if I click it, refresh, still working. Okay, nice. We basically have a working to-do app. So now what we want to do is we want to deploy it to Netlify, right? Because right now, I'm the only guy using this. You guys can't access my localhost 3000, right? Because localhost 3000 is running on my computer. So that's not good. How do we add it to something else? So basically what we want to do is, I already have Netlify downloaded, but what we're going to do is we're going to connect it to a Git repository, and basically every time I change the Git repository, it's going to like update the website, which is really cool, right? Because then you can make changes on your computer, push it to GitHub, and immediately you get a new site. You don't have to redeploy or anything. So I'm going to make a new repository. It shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so let's get out of here. Let's go back one more. Okay, let's go back in. Okay, all right. So now I want to take this folder out of this like subfolder. I want to put it in its own Git repository. Does anybody know how to do this with terminal? How to copy a folder out? Anybody? Okay, I'll just give it to you guys. But basically what's really cool about terminal, we'll talk about how to use terminal later, but you can basically copy entire folders pretty fast. Okay, and we'll just copy the entire folder right to where we are right now. Should probably stop this. This might take a while. Hold up. Not sure how long it'll take, but while we're waiting, why don't we make our own Git repository? Okay. GitHub.com. Okay, nice, it works. So if we ls right here, you can see that. Oh, I didn't put it in a folder. Okay, I should probably put it in a folder. Give me a sec. Yeah, so let me make a directory and I'll move everything in. So we'll call it React to-do app. Okay, and then we'll copy it all in. So move the node modules into React to-do app. Move package lock.json into React to-do app. Okay, move package.json into React to-do app. Move public into React to-do app. Move source into React. Okay. Yarn.lock. Okay. Whoops. Into React to-do. Okay. So now if we look at this, we feed it into React to-do app. We do npm start. Hold up. What? Give me a second. Oh, do I have to? Okay. Let me see. Let me just npm. Wait. Let's see. Let's remove node modules. And then we could just do npm init again. Okay. Okay, so why don't we make our, okay, I don't know why. Okay. So we're gonna make a new repository, right? We're gonna call it to-do list. Okay, we're gonna make it private. We're going to, that's fine. Okay, we're gonna create the repository. And now we try npm start. Hold up. Okay, which file is it happening in? Okay. Huh, maybe I have to delete the package stuff. Okay, let's do that. Let's look in here. Okay, I will see. We'll remove the node modules and we'll try npm installing again. Okay. So essentially we have this, right? So now what we want to do is we want to be able to push to this Git repository. So all we got to do that is we're going to go over there. React to do app, okay. And now over here we do git init, right? And then we do git remote add, and then we'll copy paste this in here. Whoops. Give me a sec. Git add remote. Oh yeah, okay. I have to do git add remote master, remote add master. Okay, so now if we do, let me just make sure npm start is working. Okay, there we go. That took a while. All right. So now all we got to do to make it push to this new thing, if we do git add -a, git commit -m, initial commit. Okay, so you can see that it is working, so that is good. Sorry, it's taking a bit of time to add all the files, but it should be fine. And basically what we're going to do after this is we're just going to deploy it to Netlify, which basically means anybody could access it anywhere. So hopefully this doesn't take too long. So let me just show you Netlify while we're waiting, I guess. Oh, it worked. Okay. So now we just do that. Hey, okay. Nice. So now we just do git push and it should be on our repository. Git push. Git push -u origin master. Or wait, oh, I did master. Okay, whatever, it's fine. Yeah, master. Okay. So if I go over here, we should soon have everything after it loads, because there are a lot of node packages on this thing. Oh yeah, so basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to put it on Netlify, and if you haven't seen, like basically this is how we deploy the competition website. So right here you can see that every time I push a new thing to the competition website, it automatically updates, which is really cool. So let us hope this, yeah, okay, nice. So now if we refresh here, hooray, our thing is up. Okay, so now all we got to do is, if you hadn't already installed Netlify, you would do like sudo npm install netlify CLI -d, which I already did though, but so it won't do anything, but, or maybe it will. I think it'll just update it if it's not updated already. Yeah, I think it's just updating. I think it's fine. But yeah, you get the idea. And then all we gotta do is we do netlify init. We'll connect it to a new site. My team. Site name, to-do list. Let's do to-do list CS plug. Why not? Okay, so now our build command is npm run build. Our directory to deploy is build. And now it should work. Okay, so let us see. Back to Netlify. Hey, we got this. All right. And it says it's building, so once it's built, we should be able to run it. So hopefully this takes some time. Let us open the page so that we are ready. Okay. And then go back to deploys, wait till it's done building. It'll take some time because it does have to build the whole thing, but once it is done, it should be good. Okay, it's happening. Let me send you guys a flag while I am waiting. Hold up. Okay, flag is in the chat. So let us see. Uh-oh. Hold up. Oh no. God dang it, we had to get rid of the errors. So what are the... Okay, so we had to get rid of the warning. So we'll just do like that. Okay. And what's the other warning? Assigned a value but never used. Where? Okay. Okay, so yeah, right here we want to replace that with UID. Okay. And we will push again. Okay, so git add dash a, git commit dash m, fix warnings. Well, stuff I do. Okay, and then git push. Okay. Hopefully this finishes building before you guys' 7th period class, but so you can see, right? I just pushed and it immediately started redeploying, but basically that's the wrap, right? Basically we walked you guys through the entire stack, right? Now you guys know how to make a front end, you guys know how to make a back end, and you guys know how to deploy it to Netlify, and you can literally put whatever URL you guys want to use in your future websites. You don't have to use a Netlify URL, even if you use Netlify to deploy it. So does anybody have any questions? Because otherwise it's just waiting for the deploy to happen. Anything? Okay, well, next week, could you guys come up with some Usico questions that you guys want me to like work through? Because I think we might have like one session to just go through Usico questions. Does anybody have any suggestions right now? Alright, well, if you have a 7th period class, feel free to drop out, but hopefully you guys could wait until this thing is done, which is almost done, but... Oh, rip. Okay, well, I must have missed a warning, but whatever. Okay, but you guys get the idea. Thank you guys for coming. That's all we got for today. I'm not gonna waste your guys' time trying to debug like the warnings and stuff, but yeah, so feel free to drop out. See you guys next time.